Hello, everyone. Good morning or afternoon, wherever you may be joining us. Thank you for joining our webinar presented by SEKISUI SPR Americas. My name is Ryan Schallenberger, and I will be giving the introduction for our event today. This presentation will cover tight-fit PVC liners, SEKISUI SPR's innovative spiral-wound liners that are installed directly against a pipeline's wall. Our presenter today is Jackie Jaquez, and here's a quick bio on Jackie. Jackie is the regional manager for SEKISUI SPR Americas for the Western United States. She has over 25 years of industry experience working with manufacturers and contractors specializing in trenchless pipeline rehabilitation and condition assessment solutions. She is a current board member of West and is active in numerous industry committees. Before we begin, there's a few items I'd like to cover. First is some information on SEKISUI SPR Americas. SEKISUI SPR provides innovative trenchless PVC liners for the rehabilitation of gravity sewers, storm drains, and culverts. Our diameter capabilities span from 6 inches to over 200 inches. And Jackie will be covering a portion of this diameter range today when she discusses tight-fit PVC liners. Our headquarters are located in Atlanta, Georgia. However, we have a network of regional and national license installers for our spiral wound liners located across the United States. This will be a 30-minute presentation with a total of 15 minutes for question and answer at the end. Please write in your questions at any point, and we will quickly cover how to do so. In this picture, you can see there is a portal to ask questions. Simply click on Ask a Question to do so. If this portal is not visible, click the symbol where the red arrow is pointing. This should make the Q&A window available. Again, please ask your questions at any point during this presentation. And with that, I'll pass it over to Jackie.
Yes, Ryan, thank you so much. And good morning or afternoon. I am Jackie Jaquez, the regional manager for SEKISUI in the Western United States. And I'm going to provide you an overview of our spiral wound lining technology. So first of all, let's start with some spiral wound basics. As you can see, we produce SEKISUI spiral wound liners for gravity pipeline applications. This includes sewer, storm drain, and culverts. We have 3 different product lines. SPREX and SPRTF are tight-fitting lining solutions that are applicable for 6-inch through 60-inch diameters. Our SPRTM line covers a wide range of applications, including circular and non-circular applications from 32 to well over 217 inches in diameter. To date, we're proud to state that we have over 4 million feet of our liner installed in the United States, with several projects currently under construction. So here's a brief process overview for those of you who are not familiar with our product lines. In addition to designing and fabricating our profiles, SEKISUI engineers also design and develop our installation methods and equipment to install our spiral wound liners. As you can see here over to the right of your screen, we have 3 different installation methods. First of all, we have the SPREX system, which is a static winding machine that basically where the liner is introduced from the access chamber while the equipment stays stationary within the hose pipe. When we get into the larger applications, we have developed traverse fit systems that can accommodate the larger diameters in order to address the hydraulic capacity requirements for the installation process. The second bullet here is our PVC profile strips are continuously sealed spiral joint. So as you can see here, we extrude a variety of different standard profiles, and each subsequent stripper profile interlocks on itself once it's introduced into the hose pipe using our winding equipment. Some profiles will have optional steel reinforcement in order to meet specific design requirements. This is how we manufacture and ship our profiles to the project site. Our contractors will receive these spools and mobilize to the job site, and these spools can have anywhere from 500 to almost 6,000 meters of profile per spool. The installed liner is hydraulically sealed as a fully structural pipe, so we can design for fully deteriorated pipe conditions, capable of withstanding all applied loads. We can demonstrate that we can increase hydraulic efficiency by the improved Manning's coefficient of PVC liners versus the existing hose pipe. And we have extensive testing in-house as well as third-party test data that we can meet a minimum 50-year design life. In this slide here, what we're trying to show you is a variety of different standard profiles that we manufacture for our projects. We utilize an unplasticized PVC compound that meets the minimum cell classification of ASTM F1697. Number two, which is really important, this is a mechanical lock. So the sealing material is compressed between the male and female locks here, as you can see, which minimizes and eliminates any potential for water or gas infiltration between the locks. The PVC profile will vary with the installation method, and sometimes we can have steel reinforcement with these profiles in order to meet specific design requirements. So there's many features and benefits of our spiral wound liners, and I think a really important characteristic to point out here is the Manning's coefficient. We use pipe grade PVC with a Manning's coefficient of 0.009. So basically, what we can demonstrate within the design calcs we can prepare for you during a project design phase is that we can actually show you what the improved hydraulic capacity is post-installation, so you can plan accordingly for your project. Corrosion and chemical resistance is very important, especially in a sewer application, that the material that's being utilized can meet the corrosion resistance, especially against hydrogen sulfide and other chemicals and other gases that would be present within the host pipeline. Not only do our products meet the ASTM testing, but also here on the West Coast, the Green Book, Standard Specifications for Public Works Construction, has a testing protocol called the pickle jar test. And it's a very aggressive accelerated aging test to make sure that a product is fit for purpose to be utilized in a sanitary sewer application. Our products went through extensive testing through the Green Book in order to be tested to meet this requirement, and we've been included in the Green Book since 1998. Now, when we came to the States back in the late 90s, we had already been doing work in the Asian and Australian markets for many years. However, the testing that had been done overseas was not accepted by the US agencies. So we had to go through all the testing over again. There was a committee called the Pipeline Rehabilitation Task Force, who actually was responsible for writing Section 500 of the Green Book. The committee included representatives from the city of Los Angeles, the city and county of San Diego, just to name a few, and they had to witness all the testing that was done on our products. First of all, they went to Australia to do a site visit of our ISO 9001 manufacturing facility. And then number two, they witnessed all the testing that was to be required by the Green Book Committee at the Ramtech Labs here in Los Angeles, California. The two tests that were really important here were obviously was joint integrity testing. That was the most important test that we had to conduct, and a straight alignment and an axial misalignment and a shear deflection testing on our liners, and both for internal pressure and for vacuum. As you can see here, the duration was for 10 minutes, and we passed with flying colors, and it was based on this successful testing protocol that we were included in the Green Book in the 1998 edition. Structural integrity. So when we work with you, we like working with you during the design phase. We're going to send you a project information sheet, and we're going to collect all the data from you as to the parameters for your project. We can design as a fully structural standalone liner capable of withstanding all applied loads. And this includes even highway, airport loading, railroad crossings, etc. So we can demonstrate how our liners can meet your specific project requirements. Furthermore, our shareholder, SEKISUI Chemical in Japan, obviously being in a very seismic active area, has done a lot of testing and evaluations in conjunction with the city of Tokyo's Public Works Division to really see and understand how earthquake resistant our liners are. So again, we've done extensive testing, not only with third-party labs, but also in-house to verify that our liners are fit for purpose. So let's get into some more basics here on tight fit liners. We're going to start here first with SPREX. So SPREX is a static winding installation process whereby the drive tray assembly and the installation equipment is lowered into a manhole chamber or access location, and it will stay within the access chamber and actually fabricate the pipe from structure to structure without traversing. It's a two-step installation process here, and I'll show you a video here in a minute to give you a better understanding of the installation process. We have well over 3 million feet in the United States installed to date, and with an extensive amount of liner being installed here, particularly in California. So the drive tray assembly in this case is typically going to be installed at the downstream structure here with the winding cage here that's going to be sized slightly smaller than the hose pipe ID. And that's to prevent the liner from getting hung up on any offsets or any other anomalies that would typically be present within the hose pipe. The operator is going to wind that liner from downstream to upstream. It's going to widen it a few inches within the upstream structure, torsionally restrain it, and then through a patented process is going to radially expand that liner to create a tight fit lining solution throughout that entire length of hose pipe. First of all, number one, the operator is going to install this liner as a fixed diameter here. You've got your primary lock here with a lubricating sealant, and this is the secondary, or what we commonly refer to as the sacrificial lock. As the liner is being initially wound into the hose pipe, as you can see here, there's a steel wire that's going to be positioned between the two locks. That's only a temporary situation here, and its basic function is to hold this into a fixed diameter through step one of the installation process. Once that liner reaches the upstream structure, the expansion process can begin. So the operator will retract that wire, sever that secondary lock, and now that liner is going to want to radially expand to create a tight fit liner within that hose pipe. What's very unique about our installation process is, number one, we have the complete visual observance of the installation process from two different points of view. This crew person here is monitoring the speed by which that liner is being installed into the hose pipe. He's going to put into the computer here what is the length of the run that they're doing, the diameter, and then he can control the speed by which the profile is being fed in, how much lubricating sealant is going into that primary lock, and the speed by which that wire filament is being placed between the primary and secondary lock. He's in communication with the CCTV truck, who is going to be monitoring the winding coming down the hose pipe, as well as he'll be responsible for coordinating the expansion and for the lateral reinstatement. We've had multiple projects over the years where engineers are trying to learn about our technology. We'll be up here, watch them set up, do a proving section above ground, and then everybody comes into the TV truck to watch the lining and expansion process. Here's a lining video to give you a better understanding of the installation process. This is a newer product for the United States, though we have about 500,000 feet of it installed overseas. But this came about because we realized that within the medium diameter market, that tight fit liners quite often were not being represented in this diameter range. Slip lining quite often was reducing the hydraulic capacity too much, so we introduced our SPRTF/RO product line. So as you can see here, we have two different pieces of equipment here, and the operative word here, this is a traverse fit system. This is our TF machine here, and this is our RO machine here. And basically, we are selecting the installation equipment based on the profile that's required in order to meet the project-specific requirements. Historically, we're using the TF machine for PVC profiles, and when steel reinforced profiles are required, typically the SPRRO machine is utilized. The RO machine here is really a brilliant piece of equipment. These roller arm assemblies here, these will rotate around the length of the hose pipe as it's traversing down the length of the pipeline structure. This could be for sewers, storm drains, or culverts. The operator can adjust these arms, the hydraulic arms here, to reduce the tension if there's a transition or a change in the hose pipe diameter, or if we have to negotiate a bend. Additionally, what's really great about this technology, because it's traversing and there's only one lock configuration for these profiles, we can join subsequent spools of material together to do the longer run lengths that are pretty typical for this 40 to 60-inch diameter range. The SPRTF system here is very compact and efficient, and is very, very efficient in dealing with our non-steel reinforced profiles. Again, what's another great advantage of all of our products is that we have the ability to install in live flow conditions, as you can see represented here on the diagrams. So as you can see here, it traverses down the length of the hose pipe. In this case here, we're going to be installing from upstream to downstream to go with the flow. We have a mechanical lock here where we're creating the lock within the job on the project site for the SPREX liner. Here we've got a mechanically installed seal from the factory that's already on the profile edges when it's delivered to the job site. Here's a few videos here we can show you to give you a better understanding of how the SPRTF and RO lining systems are installed. Okay, so now you have a better understanding after seeing some of our project videos here. So let's get into some of the lining benefits of our tight fitting lining solutions. We can install liners in live flow, typically without the need for bypass. So typically we say we can do up to 30% full pipe, low velocity flow. So we'll take into consideration the pipe diameter, velocity, and slope of the application to determine if any type of flow management would be required. Typically, in some of those smaller applications, if needed, the contractors quite often will use flow-through plugs or other damming mechanisms. Obviously, night installations are also utilized, but typically we have the benefit of not having to use bypassing as part of our project installations. Everything can be lowered through an existing access chamber. The equipment can be lowered down in sections if needed and reassembled at the manhole base. But it provides a very small construction footprint, and that's very important when you're dealing in some very congested areas, especially if you're in an urban environment. Because it's a tight fit liner, you do not require any annular space grouting. Furthermore, SEKISUI PVC spiral-wound liners are environmentally friendly. We have no styrene or any chemicals as a part of our installation process. That's particularly important in environmentally sensitive applications, and often our contractors do not have to obtain extensive permitting as a result because our products do not have a negative environmental impact. Okay, and our last point here, which is really important, I'm going to give you an overview of some of our key projects that we've done over the years, represented by our case studies. We started working with the city of San Diego back in 2000 when they were under an EPA consent decree to repair their sewers. They had found that they were having a sanitary sewer spill almost daily that were affecting a lot of their beaches. They improved their sewer cleaning program, especially locations such as the canyons, in order to reduce the amount of roots coming into their sewer system. To date, over 1 million feet of SEKISUI's PVC spiral liners have been installed in the city of San Diego. And due to their concern about roots coming into the system, City of San Diego requires all lining systems to install an SLC, such as a top hat, on all laterals that are reinstated on all of their host pipelines. We give credit to our licensees, New Line Technologies and Southwest Pipeline, for their continued work in the city of San Diego. LA County Department of Public Works provides maintenance services to about 38 different contract cities within Los Angeles County. Our licensees, New Line Technologies and Southwest Pipeline and Trenchless, are continuing to bid projects within LA County, and to date, our licensees have installed well over 750,000 feet of SPREX in agencies all throughout LA County. Honolulu, Hawaii, Wilhelmina Rise. This was the Indiana Jones of projects. As you can see, this is where our contractor, Parsons RCI, had to access in order to install the liners. They got extremely creative in some of the areas where there was terraced homes, where they actually were lowering spools of profile down through a pulley system to lower them into areas that would be restricted to any other lining solution. All right, this next project here is for Fulton County, Georgia. Our contractor, Ruby Collins. It was a Riverside Drive rehabilitation project. This particular line segment was located next to the river with heavy rainfall, and the SPRTEX technology handled this difficult conditions with great ability and was installed in live flow, as you can see. They were trained virtually due to COVID-19. So even though we are having limitations on travel globally, we have the ability to train and provide technical support remotely to any of our licensed contractors. Valdosta, Georgia. This again is Ruby Collins. This was a difficult access project due to the line being only accessible through a small parking lot. It was a 30-inch RCP project located within the stream. And it had a minimal construction footprint and the flexibility of the EX system that could accommodate the project application without issue. This was another very interesting project, but demonstrating how we can design for airport loading. Again, we worked with Parsons RCI in Seattle. This involved a variety of different storm drains that were located on the KCI airport property that ran parallel as well as underneath the taxiways. Sometimes they had very little time to work, sometimes 4-hour windows, in order to be able to access these pipelines, cleaning one day, lining the next, sometimes a few minutes to be notified that there was aircraft landing for them to vacate and get out of the RSA. But again, this just demonstrates, not only how we can design for structural loading, we also can adapt quite easily to some very unusual and difficult timeframes for installing our liners. In Albuquerque, New Mexico, our installation partner, AUY, did a project for the authority. We rehabilitated 18-inch and 21-inch pipe, very difficult access. It was located under an overpass along the I-40 freeway. However, when they got through cleaning this project, as you can see, it took them weeks with mechanical cleaning equipment in order to clean this pipeline. As they were getting ready to install the liner, it turned out that the as-built were incorrect. Now, this could have been a real disaster for other products who had already delivered a liner to the job site. However, we were able to accommodate the change in pipe diameters by installing the liner. It has a smaller diameter, same profile, and just downsize the winding cage diameter for installation. So we were able to save the agency money for change conditions by being able to adapt our technology and installation process. This project was for Orange County Sanitation District, and as you can see, again, a very difficult site access. We have the overpass here over in Orange Thorpe and Placentia. So here's the access structure here. The pipeline ran underneath the railroad tracks, under a canal, and terminated in a maintenance yard on the other side of the canal. We did this installation during prime hours, morning installation, live flow. In order to manage the flow, the contractor used a flow-through plug on this 24-inch hose pipe to reduce it just a little bit in order to make it manageable for them to complete the installation. We do a lot of work for Caltrans, and this is just one representative project here and is noteworthy. This is up in the San Bernardino Mountains for District 8. And as you can see, some pretty hilly areas here. And actually, because of all the environmental requirements, they had to have a biologist on site every day to basically make sure that we were not disturbing any of the birds or snakes that were nesting during the time of the installation. This was going on during springtime months. And as a result, because we don't have any chemicals or styrene involved in our installation process, a lot of the environmental permitting was not required. And last but not least, this is our new Carolina Basin Trunk Sewer project in Portland, Oregon. This will be our very first project with the city of Portland with our new licensee, J.W. Fowler. This is going to be utilizing our SPRRO liner. This is a liner that is actually embedded with steel in the ribs. We expect construction to start in September of 2021, so stay tuned. We'll be providing updates on our website as well as through LinkedIn to keep you updated on the status of this project. So in conclusion, tight fit lining summary is as follows. First of all, we are a structural lining solution for gravity pipelines. This includes sewers, storm drain, or culverts. We're applicable to all pipe materials. We offer 2 different tight fitting lining solutions for 6-inch to 60-inch diameter, and it would be your project specific requirements that would dictate which lining system would be utilized. We have more than 4 million feet of liner installed in North America, with hundreds of thousands of feet of liner pending construction. We are a mechanical installation process, so again, that's very important. We have no styrene, no chemicals, and there'll be no liner shrinkage as a result, which means you're not going to have a post-installation non-compliance because either the materials have not met the requirements of the agency specifications. We are trenchless, so you're not going to be seeing access pits all over your streets. Ability to install liners and live flow typically without bypassing. This is really important. 20 to 30% is a rule of thumb I always utilize, and it's going to be based on velocity and slope. Improved Manning's end value increases flow capacity, so we can demonstrate that to you through our design calculations, what your post-rehabilitation hydraulic will be utilizing one of our profiles. And again, small construction footprint, the equipment is portable, so whether it's your downtown urban areas or it's in the remote access area in the canyons or in the mountains, we have the ability to access those projects without a lot of challenges. So with that, that's the conclusion of our presentation. We appreciate your time today, and we look forward to receiving your questions here during our Q&A session.
Okay, great. Thank you, Jackie. And now we're going to transition over to our Q&A portion. And just a reminder, feel free to continually ask some questions here. We'll still be able to receive questions, and if we don't get to them right now, we'll make sure to reach out to you and get your question answered. So Jackie, it looks like we did receive some good questions. I'll go ahead and pass it over to you so we can get started on getting these questions answered.
Okay, great. Thanks, Ryan. And again, we appreciate your time today, and we will try to get through as many questions as possible here. And if we don't get to them during this Q&A, we will follow up with you personally. A great question here. How are SEKISUI spiral wound liners specified? The agencies or through their consulting engineering firms will typically prepare performance-based specifications, thereby having the design criteria in the bid documents so the contractors know what the design parameters are. We support our licensees and provide them with the design calculations so they understand which of our profiles meets the project requirements. A little bit about our design process for those of you who are not familiar. If you have a project, for example, we will send you something called our project data collection form. And on this form, we're going to ask you a lot of questions, but it's like pipe diameter, what is the depth of cover, what is the water table, the loading conditions, etc. And then we'll run design calculations. We have to be able to meet both the partially deteriorated and the fully deteriorated design check with our own internal minimum factor safety of 2. For some reason, it doesn't meet that minimum factor of safety, we will bump up to the next more robust profile and then issue the design calculations for review. Next question, are spiral wound liners competitive against other trenchless technologies? The question is absolutely yes. Obviously, every project has its unique features and benefits. Sometimes it will maybe favor one technology versus another. However, if you remember the features and benefits from the constructability advantages that we have, number one, we don't need access pads. Everything can be lowered within an existing access chamber. Number two, we don't typically have to bypass, and that's a really important criteria. Think of the efficiencies and the improved productivity that can be achieved when you're not having to deal with the bypass setup and just the cost, as well as the safety concerns of setting up a bypass, especially if you're in a very heavy traffic area. That's really an issue. And from the contractor standpoint, they're looking at efficiency, daily production, and the fact that we don't have to wait for our liners to cure before services are reinstated. They can go back immediately and reinstate those services. So the businesses and the residences are not inconvenienced during the winding operation. Another question here, can this be used on a pressure pipeline? No, this is only for a gravity application, and we typically limited the operating pressure would be 10.7 psi. So unfortunately, it cannot be used for those pressure applications. Another question that came up here, let's see, I'm trying to read through all of them quickly here. End sealing. Yes, we have end seals that we're utilizing that would be on the upstream and downstream section. We typically are using an Avanti AV202 grout or equivalent, depending on what the agency has required. But basically, this is material that's compatible, and it's also gone through the corrosion testing to make sure it's fit for purpose for some of these more aggressive applications. Let's see. Another great question here, run length. I think that's a really important thing. So first of all, we're going to take a look at what is the hose pipe diameter, and that's obviously very important. Are we going to be using our EX system, which is stationary, or are we going to be using our traverse fit system? It's very important, we have to look at the access chamber and the access structure to see how our equipment would be positioned in the access location. However, rule of thumb, this is just kind of a broad range. I would say for our SPREX system, we could do between 600 and 800 feet run lengths. And then we have a little bit more ability with our SPRTF/RO system, because with this technology, we can actually join subsequent spools of material together, which really kind of allows us to increase the run lengths. And with that, I'd say somewhere between 800 and 1,000 feet. But again, what I'd like to do is, we say, hey, we can take a look at this. And we will give you our assessment based on your individual project requirements and let you know if we can meet those run lengths, and if not, what we would propose as an alternative. But most often we can read your run lengths without any issue. All right, let's see. Again, they were asking how much hydraulic reduction capacity would be per each installation. Now, with the tight fit systems, as you saw with those profiles, the width of the strip, there's two different numbers. Let's say our 85-7, which is within our SPREX family. The width of the strip is 85 millimeters, and that has a height of the rib, which is 7 millimeters. So typically we will say that it's double the rib height, which will give the overall diametric reduction. However, with our improved Manning's coefficient, we're typically very efficient in equating, if not improving, the overall hydraulics. So again, you have a project, you want us to make that determination, we certainly can provide that for you, and you can see that on the spreadsheet what the post-rehab hydraulics would be for that. All right, let's see, I'm going through here. And what is a typical construction footprint? Okay, so you saw from the videos, we need 2 points of access. Okay, so we need an upstream and a downstream. That is the typical setup. If there's something one-off from that, I would refer to our operations and engineering team to be able to provide you with maybe a different idea or concept how we would approach it. But keep in mind, let's always have 2 points of access on it. The contractors can either one have the spool, truck mounted, or they can have it on spool skates, located at the winding installation location. And you'll have a CCTV truck at the other location. So again, it's very small construction footprint. Our operations team has said basically factor in maybe a 12-foot by a 36-foot, access location, and that would be more than sufficient. Keep in mind, for example, we've done some work for Caltrans, for example, and some of these locations have been off highway. We can park the vehicle along the shoulder, and the equipment can be hand carried down and assembled up to about 500 feet away from the truck. So if you've got some of these really unusual applications, I think that we could certainly accommodate you. Let's see, another one here. I have a project in British Columbia, Canada, to rehabilitate an earthquake-proof project. We are looking at projects in Canada. If you have some interest in some of our products for your project, please contact us after the presentation or through our website, and we'll be glad to discuss your project in more detail. The project worked. We have a history of working in the 90 and 108-inch diameter pipe. Yes, we do. We work with licensed contractors in the United States, including, this is not within this presentation, SAK and Ruby Collins. And we do have special profiles that can accommodate bends within the hose pipe. And I'd be glad to discuss this with you at a later time to be able to assist you with those types of projects. And I think we probably have time for one or two more questions here. So let me scroll down here a little bit more. The question is, for the 6-inch and 8-inch products, are there curve installation limitations? We can do sweeping bends within these smaller diameter ranges, but again, there are some limitations with that, but we would take a look at the video. We have a great team of operations and engineering support, you know, here at SEKISUI. So if you have a question about an application, we'd be glad to work with you. I'd like to emphasize that we like working with, you know, our agency and engineering partners during the design phase. We think it's very beneficial to address the project, not only from a design, but a constructability standpoint. And I think that's very, very important. So, and that's why we have an excellent team of licensed contractors, as you saw today, represented by the various case studies. So we certainly could provide you with our expertise and input if we believe our product is fit for purpose for your project. Let's see, we're getting close on time here, folks. Let's see, the question is, how is the material protected from UV degradation? And I'm assuming that this is maybe from a storage standpoint. As a licensee, part of your package of information would include the proper storing of the liner material. So obviously you don't have it sitting out exposed. It is shipped in a protective covering from the manufacturer. So we provide very clear guidance on how you should be protecting the liner before it is actually installed into the hose pipe. With that, let me see, maybe I can squeeze in one more here. Let's see. And the last question is, would the presentation be available to view later? We encourage you to visit our website. We've done a lot of these webinars. We try to focus on specific areas of interest, etc. Our website has a lot of great information to assist you. And again, we have a great network of professionals here at SEKISUI between the regional managers, our operations and engineering team, and we're ready here to support your project, and we look forward to your inquiries. With that, I'm going to turn it back over to Ryan, and all I would say is thank you everybody for attending today. We appreciate your time, and we hope to work with you in the future. Thank you.
Yes, thank you, Jackie. Thank you, everybody, for your questions. And to give a little button on that last question, yes, this presentation will be available. The recording will be available here soon. I would encourage anyone who wants to watch this presentation or any of our other presentations to follow us on our social media channels, but I'll make sure to, we'll make sure to get this out on a email blast or through our website or through one of our other channels. But we appreciate everyone taking the time for joining today, and we encourage you to check out our website or other material. Thank you, everyone.